conversation that explores beyond our thinking, beyond the obvious. And today I have a special guest. From rockstar dreams to marketing maverick and cancer warrior, no other than Miss Rachel Minion.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful.
Welcome, welcome, Miss Rachel. On abstract essay, and can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Absolutely. I am Rachel Minion, head rock star at Rockstar and Moon, and founder of Beyond Basic Needs.
Yeah, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Rachel. Thank you for being a rock star. Thank you. So today let's talk about turning crisis into opportunity, how to grow a business from a brink of collapse, drawing on you as your experience of building a successful company during the pandemic. So tell us the brink define. When you say brink of collapse, what were the specific tangible metrics, key moments that made the threat undeniably real?
So I started Rockstar and Moon in 2010. My parents' business had just closed, and I had been helping to run that for the last decade. And no one would hire me. They didn't believe my experience in helping to run the company, getting estimating systems set up, doing production, getting on press, going even into the bindery and working. And because I couldn't find a job, I created Rockstar Moon. Rockstar Moon is meant to expand my skill set, get me a few clients, and help me be able to position myself better for future jobs. From there, Rockstar was always my side hustle. I had clients that have been with me since the beginning. They're still with me now, 16 years later. And the best part about it is I got to grow this skill set. I was never going to get anywhere. So I found my dream job, and I'm running marketing for a division of Ticketmaster. And it is unbelievable. My first year, we got to see 275 different artists. It was everything to me. I was thinking about shutting down the side hustle because every week I was traveling back and forth to LA or to San Francisco, and I didn't have the time I needed to devote to my clients. So just around the time when I'm thinking of shutting it down, that's when the pandemic happened. Now, the first month of the pandemic, we had Pharrell come and talk to us. Things are going to be great. They're going to be wonderful. Everything will be wonderful. The next month, it was Garth Brooks. And Garth Brooks, same message. He's talking to us how inspired he was by all of us. And the next Zoom meeting, 80% of us were furloughed. And the minute that you hear furlough, you can either spin into, oh my God, what am I going to do? Or it can kick you in the pants to take that side hustle of yours that you were thinking of shutting down into a full-time gig. And that's what I did. I started immediately. I had no income because there's no job other than this small side hustle, and started scaling that afternoon, called all my clients and said, hey, the projects I've been putting off, let's do them now. How can you help me grow? So we went, go ahead.
Go ahead, Miss Rachel. Sorry. So, what is a rockstar? What's a rockstar moon anyway?
So, Rockstar Moon is a marketing company that started under the stars and the moon, thinking if that's what I could give everybody, that's what needs to happen. And we brought Rockstar Moon to a very different point when we started scaling it. And that was when, after the pandemic, things changed. Everybody started working different. And the things that used to add value didn't add value. So that's where we really became a partner to our clients and helping them grow and really focusing on the consulting side of the world.
Interesting, interesting, yeah, Miss Rachel. So the emotional catalyst in the moment of maximum pressure, what was the core emotion that drove you to fight for pivot instead of accepting closure? Was it the fear of anger, sense of responsibility, or something else entirely?
I think the minute that I hear the word no, I say, let me show you. So as soon as I'm stuck, all those challenges you can look as defeating and really upsetting, or that's what drives you to go do better and build more. And that's what I experienced. It was really upsetting to lose the job that I thought was my dream job. It connected me to music, which is what I love more than anything. And I had to grieve the idea of the job that I had. And I had to learn how to be an entrepreneur and understand that you're allowed to build your own business and you're allowed to build the business of your dreams.
Wow, that is amazing and empowering, Miss Rachel. The first scary no, the path to a new opportunity often starts with a ruthless prioritization. What was the first major sacred cow? A product, a service, a client segment that you had publicly sacrificed to create a resource, the mental space to innovate?
I had to sacrifice the idea of trading time for money. Because when you start as a freelancer and you're doing this as a side hustle, it's okay, here's my hourly rate. We'll just go by that. And I had built myself in a full time job that I could never scale again. And so when you're looking at priorities and what do you do and how do you do it? Great. I had 50 hours booked a week of time almost immediately. But
Mhm.
that wasn't going to be helpful for anybody, especially when you think about like, okay, I want a weekend or I want to be able to go out at night or I want to do these things and not be tied down. And I want to grow so I don't have to do all the things. I need a team.
Definitely, you need a team. So, Miss Rachel, the 24-hour rule in initial chaos, how do you structure your own on your team's time? Was there a deliberate shift from long term planning to a series of rapid 24-hour experiments to find a new path?
I am terrible at long term planning. I am horrible at it. I believe in testing what we have. So I have crazy ideas that are off the wall at times. And I think it would be really quick to be able to do a fast implementation and get it out and test and see if it's picked up in the market. For example, I didn't know what niche I wanted to be working with. I was working with 10 at the same time, which makes it impossible because you're constantly changing gears from A to B to C and having to be a knowledge base of all of that. And so I switched it and said, let's just test working with consultants. Let's get rid of all the other clients that are in the wrong segments for us, or we can move them to different packages. But let's just focus on the one and see if we can get traction and see if we can come up with an offer that we can help grow their business the right way without all the ad hoc stuff we were doing. That was our first big test. It was scary as anything, but immediately we saw the data that it was picking up traction. So we knew we were in the right path. So then we could make the tweaks. So we didn't have to talk to everybody. Now we're talking to one segment. Now let's tweak that message to just be just that segment.
Hmm. So, Ms. Rachel, on the strategy and execution, our execution in crisis, The customer lifeline, when everything is changing, how do you determine which existing customers were your true allies and lifelines? How do you leverage those relationships, not just for revenue, but for the critical feedback on your new direction?
One of the things that I've realized as the business owner is my clients are my best source of feedback. They also are the ones that need to give me the data so that we can actually see the results. I was really concerned in the beginning asking for data and feedback. I was concerned that our clients appreciated something but couldn't match that to revenue, or they were appreciating something that just came with part of who I am and how I show up to the relationship. And I started asking for video testimonials and letting my clients tell their story, and it blew me away. And that was the biggest change where I started asking them for feedback and trying to understand, what is it you think I do for you versus what do I actually do?
Hmm. Interesting. So, Miss Rachel, the minimum viable pivot. What did the absolute maximum viable version of your new opportunity look like? How did you strip your offering down to its bare essential core to learn faster than crisis was moving?
Well, we've just built the profit multiplier. And the profit multiplier is what we have as our product offering after 5 years of testing
Hmm.
and put it into place. All of the different playbooks, all the different templates, everything that we have that's helped our clients gain traction. We put that into one product. We started selling before it was fully built out. Yes, we've done all of this for everyone before, but we've switched this to a done with you program instead of the done for you program. And the coolest part about that is you can start having conversations about pain points immediately. You don't have to wait for something to be fully baked or fully built out because you want to make sure that that's resonating with your ideal client. And when you do that and you do that in a really smart way where you're capturing feedback from prospects, you can make sure you're building in all the things that they're concerned about.
So, Miss Rachel, the communicating in the storm, how do you communicate the dire situation or the radical pivot to your team, investors, or customers? How do you balance radical transparency within maintaining enough confidence to keep them on board?
I believe in setting the standard for excellence for my team. I require that my team show up every single day ready to deliver excellence for our company and for our clients. When I'm making a change, it's not a 3-second, okay, let's do this. It is a, here is the vision. Here is what I'm thinking. Here's why I'm thinking it. Now, team, I need you to be on board with this because I can't do this without you. And it's completely different than anything else we've ever done, but it's doing it in this other path. And here is where I need you guys to step back, give me your thoughts on it, and help me push this over the hill.
And the opportunity filter, Miss Rachel. With limited resources, how do you evaluate which potential new avenues were genuine opportunities versus desperate distractions? What is your decision making framework?
I like to go with the big three. I want to understand what my top three priorities are before I make any decisions at all. So, is it that I'm looking to get more sales? Is it that I'm looking to get more leads? Is it looking that I'm trying to find something for my client? And if I stick to those priorities and only those priorities, it handles everything else, especially because we all know there's a shiny new object that comes every 5 seconds. And I could try this and I can try this and we can do this. But there's no way to do that to focus on it enough to be able to get traction and to be able to move that forward.
To move forward, for sure, not backward. People move forward. Resourcefulness and strategy. You likely had no budget for the new venture. What were the most creative, scrappy ways to leverage existing assets or bartered or form unexpected partnership to build a new model?
What's interesting to me is that I have this incredible network that I always think of as last. And being able to bring that forward into the forefront is a massive change. So, what we've done recently, believe it or not, is it isn't even just referrals for us, but we've created a referral relationship for all of our clients. Where the minute that I hear the signal, I know I can pass my client to another client and say, you guys need to just have a conversation. This actually just happened yesterday. So
Mm.
not only are we working on getting good referrals for ourselves and working with our clients to provide that and our former clients and my friends and my network, but we're also trying to foster that internally with our every single client we have.
So, Miss Rachel, let's talk about the on leadership and team dynamics. The team's why. In a crisis, as a paycheck is not enough, how did you recruit or re-engage your existing team around new uncertain mission when morale was at its lowest?
You know, I think there are so many ebbs and flows in a business as to where morale is. And I think that there's moments where we are so inundated with work, we are so inundated with getting stuff done, we're so inundated with life that our head is down. But I think that there's so many opportunities to change the energy in the room and change it really fast. One of the things that I like to do is I'll drop a bomb for my team. And yes, that's what I call it. Because I'll put in Slack, okay, channel, hands down, everybody hands off your keyboard. And then I'll put in some type of fun prompt like, all right, put in the song you're listening now from Spotify, put the link in the chat. Or everybody go find your favorite Muppet and change your profile picture right now. And it's that pattern interrupt that has made my team nervous because you never know what I'm going to say. But at the same time, it makes it a fun little game where for 5 minutes you get that break and it helps you to reset that mindset.
Hmm. Reset that mindset definitely to a better mindset. As the leader, you were navigating uncharted territory. How did you manage your own visibility, admitting, I don't know, while still projecting a confidence necessary to lead the charge or the change or the charge itself?
I know there's enough that I don't know that I'm really happy to admit it, but I'm going to test the heck out of it. I have a hunch. So, how do we get from A to B? And how can we test our way there? Let's prove it one way or another. And I ask my team, which way do we think is going to win? And in most cases, none of us are ever right, which is the best part because it's always a learning experience.
Mhm. A learning experience. The pivot is let's say, undoubtedly required to new skills fast. How did you identify the gaps up or upskill your team? Was it a learn as you learn?
I have the belief that the team around me will rise to the occasion. So we provide training and learning experiences. So if we don't know something about, for example, the world of AI and LLMs, what do we do about GEO? And how do we balance that? And every month something changes massively, it feels. So I'm not expecting my team to be experts. I'm expecting my team to be genuinely curious. If they're curious enough, they will be able to help me do the research and bring in the right pieces so that we can solve any of those challenges.
Hmm. Yes, definitely. Solve those challenges. Decision and velocity. How do you compress decision making cycles? Do you have a temporary dismantle consensus to empower small teams or individuals to act with extreme autonomy?
I would like my team to act as experts. I empower them to act as experts. When it comes to processes, when it comes to what are we going to do for a client, we always look back to the strategy. And if that isn't defined, I look to my team to guide, make suggestions, and I like to see a few suggestions so I can make the right decision based off that data. And if we don't have the data, then that means we need to go back and research again.
Hmm. Search again. Yes, try and try until you succeed. Definitely. And Miss Rachel, on resilience and mindset. There are often moments where a leader personal resilience is tested beyond limit. Can you describe your lowest moment and specific thought, persons, or practice that help you take the next step?
I think one of the lowest moments was we had a client that we took on that we probably should never have taken on. All the red flags were there. All the major issues that you could imagine were showing up in this relationship. And it was really disappointing. And I turned myself inside and out to try to make the client happy. But we took a moment. I did some meditation. I did some yoga. I did some thoughts on what do we do and how do we do it. And really use that to pivot massively. We have since changed our entire sales process so that you won't have to be fully qualified to be able to work with us. You have to have this desire to want to change, to be able to grow, and to have a dialogue about it. Um, we immediately fired the client that we were working with because we knew we were not going to be able to help them at that stage that they were in and explained why. But we also changed every single piece internally so that we could in the future be able to get out of that moment. And it's devastating knowing that you can't help somebody. But at the same time, if we put in some safeguards around that so we don't get into that situation again, that's what we need to do.
So, on legacy and sustainable growth, Ms. Rachel, the permanent scars, what operational or cultural practices born in the crisis have become a permanent, valuable parts of your company's DNA?
It's funny that one of our values is Keith Richards. Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones has tried everything. He has tested everything. And you know what? He has stood the test of time. And he seems like he will be here forever. And it is that level of testing and perseverance and resilience that is fully baked into the DNA of our company.
Hmm. The DNA of the company itself. And let's talk about the advice you will give to our listeners. If you could go back to the week before the pandemic hit, what is one piece of strategic or emotional advice would you give yourself knowing what was coming, and how do you pivot?
I think the only advice I could give is start before you're ready. I did not go out on my own with my company. And I was thinking about shutting it down because I wasn't able to serve my clients with the time that they needed. And I was so scared to lose the stability of a full time job. I was so scared to be in an unsafe place And a few months later, there I was. It was just the kick that I needed. So, had I started before I was ready, I probably would have been full time years before.
Miss Rachel, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in sixth season, abstract poetry in third season, and mock book 101 review in sixth season as well, comedy 101 third season, and mock food 101 in its sixth season as well. Geography 101 love letters, movie 101 review, music 101 fourth season, science 101, sex 101 in fourth season, Man My Baby Podcast, Trivia 101, Law 101, Mental Health 101, Motivation 101, Entrepreneurship 101, and of course, my Bible Verses 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Rachel, for an entrepreneur listening who is not in a pandemic but is facing their own existential crisis, what is the single most transferable principle for your experience about finding the seed of opportunity in this rubble?
You have to find a way to get out of survival mode. You have to get into a mindset and to a place where you can make good decisions that are not solely based on I'm doing this just to survive. Because if you're doing it just to survive, you're creating this pattern of things that you're going to just be miserable doing.
Yes, and Miss Rachel Minion, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. I have a new podcast called Entrepreneurship 101, and I'm inviting you to be part of it. And let's talk about business mindset. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Absolutely. So come visit me at rachelminion.com and you'll be able to see not only what we do for the nonprofit, where we provide chemo care kits to cancer warriors, but at Rockstar and Moon, where we're doing marketing consultants and helping them double their business.
Double your business. I like that, Miss Rachel. Double, double, double. I like that mindset. Double your business. That'd be awesome. And I have one more question, Miss Rachel. When a business you build is failing and the guilt can be paralyzing, how do you process your responsibility for the collapse phase to free up the mental energy to build the opportunity phase?
Believe it or not, I go to the Ayurvedic clinic. I need my energy cleansed. I want a refresh, and I want to press that reset button so that way I can get right back into it.
Yes, people, reset the button. It's not the end of the world. Come on. When Steve Jobs was replaced by as a CEO of Apple, he replaced another company. He reset and reset and reset. So do reset, people. Reset. So that's Rachel. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Modicon people, see you soon.